Guess that's what happens when someone's scoring, throwing dimes, doing the whole thing. So I get mad too.
All right, so yeah, now we're continuing on with the game film. We got some good stuff right here, man. Starting off with the Warriors. Now, what do you think about Jonathan Kuminga so far this season?
Not as consistent.
Yeah, it's just it's a weird thing going on with him. He had a nice game against the Rockets without Draymond Green and Curry there. You know,
Yeah.
he was okay. He was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. He kind of rescued them in the fourth quarter, had some clutch plays. But they played the other day and they won, I think, against the T-Wolves. And Steve Kerr, man, he had, even in a victory, he had some kind of he kind of had some choice words, man, at the press conference.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was taking shots at Kuminga, because we spoke on Kuminga early on how, you know, he's kind of fighting to get his worth, but at the same time the Warriors are kind of in this gray area with him. They're kind of testing the market. They're not necessarily diving in head first on the Kuminga train.
They want to see his actual value. That's why.
Yeah. But check out what Steve Kerr had to say on Kuminga after they beat the T-Wolves. Very interesting.
When you have Steph Curry on the team, you pass the ball, because you pass it 2 or 3 times, the defense is scrambling, all hell breaks loose. So it's a choice. We can either do that and win games, or we can shoot, you know, a whole bunch of 15-foot contested shots in the middle of the shot clock and be a lousy NBA team. It's up to us, and we are hammering that point home with our team. Thank you.
But yeah, right there, he was talking about I'm pretty sure he was talking about Kuminga, because we're gonna go over the game film now of that exact game, and also the game in which he was cooking without Draymond and Steph being there, which was really, really good. He had a really good game, but a few things still popped out regarding to him kind of taking these shots. But, you know, first we're going to start off with what Kerr was stating in that exact game. So right here in transition, man, it's something about Kuminga just trying to navigate off a pick. He doesn't really know when to pull up or when to take it, but for some reason he goes right at Gobert right here. This is a tough shot. This is something that Kerr is talking about right there. And just looking at it one more time. Yeah, it's real early in the shot clock. See, like when he takes this initial jab and just Randall kind of is a little late to step up, he possibly should have took the jump shot right here. Either pull up or just pass it out. It's so early in the shot clock.
Right here, right? Who is it? When Buddy Hield gives him up the ball at the perimeter?
You're gonna
I'm watching it where Julius Randle's trying to collapse at him, right?
Yeah, when Randall's trying to, like, when Randall takes that initial step back, he should have pulled up.
Yeah.
He should have pulled up, but it's still early in the possession. He could reset, but remember, Gobert is you know, he's a really good defender, low key, and he's a good rim protector. But it's just like
in the paint, he's one of the best.
Yeah, it's just like, look, he goes right at Gobert right here. He goes right at him. I think this is what Kerr is talking about, and it's 15 seconds left in the shot clock. This is a good one.
Because it seemed like a two-man dude.
Yeah.
It should have been it was a two-man game, which Kuminga didn't really decide to commit and create an open shot for another player.
Yeah, handoff from Looney.
Yeah.
And then one-on-one. It's still early in the possession right here, but Kerr does not want him taking these kind of shots. He's not really consistent enough taking these type of shots, especially with Gobert right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you have Buddy coming off a flare screen. You still got Curry on the team. It's like you don't want Kuminga's just not consistent enough. Like what?
I think you have Gary Payton Jr. over here cutting to the basket too.
Yeah, you know, and it comes with time and rep. See, that's the thing about the Warriors. They're trying to maximize Curry's, you know, prime, and at the same time,
but they also want to transition into a new era.
Yeah, it's difficult because regardless, Kuminga's gonna have to get some reps here.
Yeah,
but this is definitely a tough shot on Gobert.
And you can tell the Warriors don't want to like really commit to a full-on rebuild because they keep guys like Kevon Looney, and like Gary Payton and like the team. You know, those guys only add to winning teams if we're keeping it real. I'm saying that it's fine that they're going on like I don't criticize them for trying to go on a mini rebuild while trying to like maximize Warriors and Steph Curry, Draymond, Looney, and Wiggins in his prime, so he can fork out a couple more years. But it makes sense why they're doing what they're doing. But it seems like kind of Kuminga has been caught on a crossfire. I don't know if it's because he came into the league with the Warriors kind of still having that core of the big three, along with Kevin Looney and obviously Gary Payton, Otto Porter, and kind of the veteran Andre Iguodala and veteran players, right? Where now it's changed and he didn't really get reps, right? So I think now he's required to really become the second option. It's a drastic difference in what 3-4 years of his career. That's like a huge change, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the best way to approach that is like the Golden State Warriors, but even then, Kawhi was a starter in the Warriors. He wasn't a guy who came off the bench. Kuminga, from what I remember, he
Oh,
didn't get much
you're
reps.
talking about in San Antonio?
Yes, San Antonio. Because you remember, Kawhi became a starter like what his third year, and that's a championship team. Way better than the Warriors modern day, you know.
Yeah, and then they weren't so focused on having two perimeter shooters like Curry and Clay.
No, the Spurs, like we knew the Spurs' best player was like Tony Parker at that point because he was the only All Star on that team. But you also saw them go out of their way to develop Kawhi, making him a starter.
Mm-hmm. But they still kind of played a team game because Tim was still effective. But then they inserted Diaw. Diaw was kind of like that forward center that could post up, make the right pass, still play good solid defense.
Yeah, I agree. But the thing is, like, Kawhi was still involved in the rotation of the team, right? Where he was, like, you could tell the Spurs were keen on developing this guy while going on his championship run with the Warriors. It's like they already had a lot of talented forwards. Like we already knew, like Otto Porter was like he was trying to rebuild his value up so he can get another contract, which he did. But he also dealt with injuries after getting another contract. Obviously, Andrew Wiggins, Andre Iguodala. So they had a lot more veterans, a lot more, and Klay Thompson coming back. So it was a lot of like that first year where they won the championship and Kuminga was on the team, 2012. I wouldn't. That's not a real developmental year. You know what I mean? I think this is like Kuminga's first year to really show off his potential. Where now he's not under the wing of like Klay Thompson and other guys.
Correct, but the only thing is that I don't think they're gonna give him the breathing room because they're really trying to capitalize off of Steph. Steph is still in prime form to bring him somewhere. You know, maybe not necessarily a championship, but they should be making playoff runs. But you know, it's their own fault. They put themselves in this gray area where Kuminga now kind of has the upper hand with the cards because he's a restricted free agent. You know, it's either they're gonna make moves and finally let him go, or they're gonna trade him in for a piece.
The thing is, who's giving up a piece for Kuminga? What the Warriors should have done, if they're gonna like maximize these last few years of Kevin and Draymond, and you know, how long does Looney really have? He has back problems, and you know, Wiggins gonna find another team, but it's mostly about Steph and Draymond, right? Your two stars, two guys who kind of become the corner of this San Francisco stadium. Is how can you maximize those guys? Now I think you could have sold the potential of Kuminga, but at this point we've seen the final product. Like I don't think people are gonna die for Jonathan Kuminga in the trade. You know, the trade value.
Well,
you know, I'll make an argument they dropped the ball on like Jordan Poole maybe, but I think Jonathan Kuminga. What's up?
Well, let's continue looking at the game film because one thing that always stood out to me is I'm wondering what does he do really well? You know what I'm saying? Like we'll continue looking at some of his film right now, but what does he do really well? And right now we're going to also take a look at him in the game in which he played against the Rockets without Draymond and Curry. All right, so Kuminga taking advantage of Connolly. And he just doesn't really have the vision. Like you said, Pod is kind of forming out right here. He's kind of wide open. You know, he has a chance to at least you know, Naz Reid still has to close out. He has some
And you see
space.
Steph pointing towards.
Yeah,
You see, yeah,
like you said, Steph is pointing towards him. You're right. This is what Steve Kerr is
and
talking
Nas Reed's
about.
giving him space. You
But
see the space Nas Reed has given him. Nas's attention is drawn here. Gobert's attention is obviously drawn here, and you know Trey. I believe that's Travis Jackson, right? Number 32.
yeah, that's
Jackson the
Jackson.
third.
Yeah, he missed him a few times. Later on, we'll see. He also missed him quite a few
But
times
Jackson
too.
closed off of this possession, right? But also, you look, Anthony Edwards gave a lot of space to Gary Payton Jr. So he has two guys he could really pass to.
Yeah, but and he has a size advantage on Connolly, so he could easily do the Luka and jump up and zip this right here, or zip this right here. Like he could easily just show as if he's gonna make the pass right here and then zip it right here. He's tall enough to do that. But
he can score over Connolly, yes.
But right now he's so focused on taking advantage of Connolly, he just gets stripped. And this is what you were talking about earlier when you said, you know, are they gonna give him the reps?
Because you see right here, the only person who gets who's getting attention on the defensive end is Steph Curry.
Yeah, Steph Curry. Yeah, his what you call Daniels is gonna stick to him.
McDaniels is sticking on Steph.
But at the end of the day, it's like Kuminga. See, this is why I said, like, what does he really do well? Because he's trying to eat right now. He sees, you know, barbecue chicken in the smaller Connolly, but he doesn't even take full advantage of it.
And you see, like, Steve Kerr clearly is giving him enough freedom to bring the ball down the court.
Yeah, it's just he has options. He has actually 3 options because he still could take advantage of Connolly, but he is athletic enough in the middle where he makes good plays right here. He makes some really athletic plays, but it's just not consistent enough, you know, for I don't know for what the Warriors are looking for him to be. I don't think it's consistent enough. Him making plays in this exact position.
What would they want him to be? I think, like, ideally, you probably want him to be like an Andrew Iguodala-like player.
Yeah, they do, but it's that he needs more reps because even this play right here, like you said, he doesn't even fill it out. He doesn't even like utilize his options.
No, he's very quick to shoot the ball.
Yeah, he doesn't even utilize his options. I don't even think he's even looking at matter of fact, he is looking at Payton. I don't think he's looking at pods at all. I don't think he sees it. Like Curry's is clearly pointing at him. But we're gonna get more
Curry's out of the equation.
Yeah, we're gonna get more.
Curry and like Travis, even was it Jackson the third? He's closed off the possession at this point. The best option would have been to pass to a pods.
I'm gonna do one more from this T-Wolves game. So yeah, it's something about him either in the pick and roll, like even when he's not operating it, him as the roll man, and him even operating the pick and roll, as we're gonna see later on in the Houston game. You know, he's not really. Maybe it's not enough reps. So right here, he has a nice drive, but he's going up against Gobert, as we know, defensive player of the year.
And Julius is distracted too.
Yeah, he could just easily bait him in, and then pass out to Jackson Davis.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of bait Rudy and then pass it out.
Jackson could cut in the the dunk lane, you know?
Yeah, but he just
the dunk spot.
He straight up challenges Rudy on this and takes a real tough layup. Like, these are the things that Kerr is talking about. And then we'll go over more pick and roll here with Kuminga and see how he operates on that. So right here, Kuminga off this pick and roll. Brooks goes under. So either he's going to pull up, which is kind of too late. Brooks kind of maneuvers through the screen good. Or he could utilize this empty space right here. Like, this is what I mean. He needs more reps running these pick and rolls. See, like, look at Brooks all over him.
He could have went left, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't really have the space to bounce it, right, to thread the needle. But he could utilize this empty side right here. He doesn't. He just decides to go straight up against a Şengün. And Şengün, he plays like a fucking big. Let me replay that again. Yeah, that was a bad attempt, and there was what 12 seconds left in the shot clock.
Yeah.
You know, even if he had to reset, he could have just reset. But maybe Kuminga is just too overzealous.
It seems like rookie mistakes, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but how many years is he in? He's been in the league for a good
4
minute
years.
now. So here's
Man, that would have
Kuminga.
been a good Wiggins pass.
Yeah, Wiggins right here. I mean, not Wiggins. Kuminga dribble handoff, and yeah, he
Yeah.
kind of gets caught right here in the air. Still not good at operating the pick and roll yet. See, he's caught in the air right there and just puts up a really bad pass against Şengün, and he ends up fouling Fred VanVleet. Yeah, it's just.
He extends the arm.
Yeah, he got called for the foul right there.
Mm.
Yeah. You know, Steve Kerr is pissed.
No, he tries to throw a lob. Kuminga's problem is IQ. I think that's just why he struggles to find some shots, and even he struggles to find some shots and kind of find his teammates.
Here's some more of him in the pick and roll. So Kuminga right here, operating the pick and roll with Looney, and a little cross action right here between Pods and Buddy Hield, and he misses Pods eventually right here because Amen kind of gets under this screen. He still had an opportunity to pass it out to Pods, and sometimes he could utilize Looney a little bit more. He could have took another dribble back in. He could have baited Amen to come this way and then go back to the right so he could have a more open shot. But maybe he just doesn't have the patience.
But you also look at how many defenders he's drawing in too, bro.
Yeah, he's drawing a lot of coverage.
Yeah. So that's an easy pass for like a Pods cut too. Look at Pods. He gets all that land to himself.
True, yeah, because he got the rookie on him right now. He got Shepherd.
Yeah.
So yeah, Pods, yeah, could probably sneak one, a little back door behind him. But Amen closes this out real fast. You know that.
Yeah,
he's gonna contest
but
that.
for a guy who demands that much pick and rolls, he's very quick to get a shot off. You'd expect him to be able to milk out the shot clock a lot more.
Yeah, again, and that's an ongoing theme right now because a lot of these possessions end with about 12 seconds left in the shot clock to about 16.
Because look how much space he has on the right-hand side.
Yeah, he's just not utilizing the spacing and taking advantage. You know what it is with Kuminga? Because Kuminga, he did come up with G League Ignite. These guys, they just didn't really have to. They played too much showcase basketball. They didn't really have to think about the game in this type of way.
But look how much space he has on the right-hand side of him.
Yeah, but here he gave up his dribble, and that's the thing. Yeah. He kind of gives it up, operating these pick and rolls pretty quick. It's like not only he's not patient enough to wait it out, he's giving up his dribble a little bit too fast, and he's not utilizing the open space next to him. He's not really utilizing that. He has more space to the right of him, and in the previous play we looked at, he had more space going towards the baseline on the right side. He didn't utilize it. He went straight up with Şengün. But like you said before, that he needs more reps.
Yeah. But I don't know if the Warriors is a place for him to get reps.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if any teams are willing to give him reps.
You mean not give him reps at that $40 million or $50 million price tag that he's looking for?
Yeah. If it was a reasonable price, they'll give him that reps.
Yeah, that's a really heavy toll. But the Warriors are betting on that.
Yep.
And again, okay, so Kuminga, he has an opportunity to pull up because Amen goes under the screen, but he's not really utilizing the screen like you said.
Bro, what's the point of setting him a screen?
Yeah, and instead the ball goes off his foot. Yeah, he had a chance really early on. Right there. Amen is getting ready to go right under the screen. Pull the fuck up. Take another step, like in between. Like, you know how to play the angles, man. Take another step right here. See if Amen is fully going to commit to going under and pull up. But again, he's not really letting the game tell him what to do. He sort of already knows what he wants to do. Say that again.
That possession, the defense recovered.
Yeah. So okay, so Amen did not go under right away. He could
But
have
when he drives in, he lets him recover on defense.
he could have did a crossover right here and pull it back.
Yeah.
He could have pulled it back right here.
For a good three.
Yeah, he could have pulled it back, go in between the legs and pull it back, do like a James Harden. But the thing is, I don't think he's had enough reps. And today's NBA, man, I'm telling you, a lot of these teams, they're gonna have to either give these guys short-term contracts, as we've seen the Rockets do with Jalen Green, or they're gonna have to pay these guys. And then, man, it's weird because the Warriors, they should have never had Kuminga to begin with as a draft pick. They should have never been in that position. But it's a weird conundrum he's really caught up in.
Yeah, I agree, because I just don't think, like, because they marketed him as a project, right? Because he came from G League Ignite, whatever. So now you're bearing the responsibility of him, like, developing into a fine player, because he's a lottery pick, right? So you want him, ideally, based off his draft pick, you want him in that conversation with Scotty Barnes, Franz Wagner, Cade Cunningham. You want him in that conversation.
Yeah, you do, but it's that he's playing for a team with championship expectation. That's really the only difference.
Well, yeah, I think, like, Franz has a lot more freedom, obviously, in Orlando. Cade Cunningham has a lot more freedom. Scotty Barnes and the Raptors are in a rebuild, so he has a lot more freedom. It's just different circumstances. So, like, even Jalen had a lot more freedom too in the Rockets.
Yeah, he had it in the first 2 seasons, and then after that, you know, when Ume got in
But
there,
once Ime took over,
yeah,
it's been a
that shit
change of
fucking changed.
directions.
Yep.
Yeah, because now the Rockets have a lot of a lot of players his age on that team, you know?
Yep. All right, so looking at the play now, him operating under the pick and roll again. Smith Jr. going underneath the screen. He could have pulled up right here, but instead, he's going to pull up for a tough fadeaway mid-range shot.
My thing is, why didn't he pull up after the Looney screen?
He's not letting the game tell him what to do. And I just think it's not enough reps. But this is what Steve Kerr was talking about. Because remember, he made those side comments after they won. After they won against the T-Wolves.
Bro, but I was calling. When you look at him, right? When you look at Kuminga, one thing I've noticed is he's an over dribbler. So he's always looking to create his own shot instead of, like, maybe like 2 dribbles and pull up. Because a lot of these screens by Looney are good. All of the clips you showed me, they're quality screens. But the thing is, like, Kuminga himself doesn't know what to do after those screens.
Yeah, and Looney is no joke. Like he's almost like, you know, in the Isaiah Hartenstein kind of role, where he's throwing these good screens.
Yeah,
he's a good vet. He's a good vet. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. It's not like he's like a new player throwing these half-ass screens, but Kuminga's just not fully utilizing them. Yeah, so that's him operating out of the pick and roll. Now we're gonna look at some more of the tough shots that he took. So right here, 1-on-1 with Dylan Brooks. Plenty of time left in the shot clock. It's kind of winding down, but
that should have been a Gary Payton pass.
Yeah, it's just I know Kerr is pissed. 7 seconds left. This is a crazy fadeaway. This guy thinks he's MJ right now. But yeah, these are usually types of possessions you don't see from the Warriors. You don't see these type of shots getting taken.
Well, you also don't see, like, role players have this much freedom with the ball as much as he has it.
True, but even if they did, right? You look at guys like Buddy Hield, Podziemski, they don't not even them get to take these type of shots.
Yeah.
You know,
because they're knockdown shooters. They don't really need to take dribbles, right? But this guy, like you see right here on Gary, like, Gary's open, right? But Kuminga's insistent on taking that shot.
Yeah, we're gonna take a look at that again. Yeah, I don't see Gary open. I just see him. He's probably able to make a quick pass to reset.
Hold on, replay one more time. Right here, you see Jabari. He's kind of dozing off of him a little bit, giving him a lot more space. You could have reset the possession right there. Maybe like if Potts could, you know.
Yeah, I don't know why Kuminga thinks that he could
Yeah.
take Dylan Brooks like that in the post. He's
Yeah,
not
because Dylan's strong as shit.
yeah.
So like you could reset the play with Gary Payton. Maybe have like pick and roll action with him and Podorinsky to create an open shot.
Now
Because you
in this
have like 9 seconds on the shot
now,
clock.
but in this game, keep in mind, Draymond Green and Curry, they were out. They're sitting on the bench, like they didn't play this game. So Kuminga had more freedom. Now he did
Yeah,
play
that's what the
well.
Warriors want though. The
Yeah,
Warriors want him to be able to be like the third third ball handler.
they did, but in this game, he did make a lot of plays in the paint, a lot of athletic plays, and like in this type of situation. But it wasn't as efficient, but it did the job, and he actually helped the Warriors win this game. You know, especially
Yeah.
at the end, closing it out. But you know, he does make athletic plays in the paint like this, but it's really usually going downhill. But at the end of the day, he did have quite a few shots in this game that you're like, I wish he didn't take those. But this Houston Rockets defense is good at the end of the day. But this
Yeah, you know,
this
yeah, I agree.
turnaround jump shot, I'm pretty sure Kerr is not happy about this shit. Last one on this.
Yeah, why didn't he just go up with the three?
All right, so hold on. I replayed it twice.
Yeah.
All right, so the third time. Okay, now I'm gonna talk about it.
Fox.
Oh,
That's a
you're right.
he's open for the
Yeah,
three.
he's open for the three right away. He's open for the three right away. Wow, he just kind of. And he could have stepped. Let's just fill this out a little more. Pods, yeah, I thought Pods would be more open, but he's
Look,
not.
yeah, look, he's clashing on Buddy Hield.
Yeah, and
The
instead,
only concern now would be is like the Warriors' offense are set, right? Because they're in transition. But despite that, like he clearly doesn't care. Look at him; he's driving into the paint despite like Looney not being in the spot.
yeah, it's this is tough. This is tough. Yeah, he just gives up on that three. He just gives up an open three to take this contested shot.
But I also think
very
it's a
early
problem
in the
with
shot clock
over-dribbling.
too. I know Kerr's
Like,
pissed.
like Kuminga doesn't have an off-ball game, right? And the Warriors have been predicated on having a good off-ball game,
Good
despite
point.
whether it's Kevin Durant, whether it's Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. You look at even the role players, right? Barbosa, Otto Porter.
Yeah,
You
for
could
the
bring in
most
shit
part,
ton of
yeah.
role players. Yeah,
A lot of young players like on Kuminga's like kind of level with athleticism. They really haven't had to develop that in their game, and it's crazy. It goes to show you that G League Ignite, it really didn't help a lot of these guys, man. It really did not, and that was the NBA's attempt to have some sort of minor league system before these guys,
yeah, they counter
come
the
into the league.
NCAA's influence.
Say that again.
It was to counter the NCAA influence of the new leagues.
Yeah, it's it has not quite worked out well. But for Kuminga, him operating out of these pick and rolls, it's kind of questionable. His decision making, him utilizing the spacing more efficiently, he doesn't really use it sometimes. It's like, what does he really do well? Does he have a good post game besides the athleticism? Does he have a good post game? Does he make great quick decisions? Is he a good pull up shooter?
Even on the defensive end, he's solid, but nothing like crazy.
Yeah, but is he even a consistent shooter? No.
Yeah.
Is he making great decisions? No. Out of the pick and roll? No. Is he even operating out of the pick and roll really well? No. Him rolling out of the pick and roll, besides him using his athleticism to get to the cup, is he making good decisions as being the roller? No. It's like there's not one thing you could really point to and say that he does well.
No. But I think the problem with Kuminga, well, I think the Warriors are giving him a lot more freedom, right? But like last season, grievances was a lack of role. And I think now with Klay Thompson gone, he's really given that responsibility. So one would hope that he would be able to step up with this newfound responsibility that he has this season. But I don't know. I think Kuminga is much more of a struggle. I think he's also one of the main reasons why the Warriors went out and got Dennis Schroeder for giving up a couple of second round picks. Is you kind of need a second ball handler, consistent one. And we see Kuminga. He struggled to kind of find his teams on the open space, struggled to create some shots for himself and the others. So I think a lot of responsibilities will go to Dennis Schroeder as time progresses.
Hmm. Now, just going to the back to the film real quick. Just again, him. What does he really do well? This is an open 3-point shot, and he airballs it. Again, it's just one thing about him. Just there's not one thing you could point at and say he does this real well. Now, off the top of your head, do you know if he plays really good defense? Can you say his
Nah, I
defense
mean,
is
I
exceptional?
can't really tell you I can't really tell you he's a great defender.
Yeah, at least for Wiggins, at times that helps Wiggins and the Warriors kind of justify his price on the perimeter. You
Oh,
know, he
Wiggins is
can
a great.
shut guys down
Wiggins
or
is a
just
good
annoy them.
defender.
Say that again.
Wiggins is an overall good defender.
Yeah, it's just Kuminga. You can't. Man, I don't know how these guys like. What do they say when their agents like? What do they say when they go to the negotiating table? Like, they just want a certain price because they were drafted in a certain area. Like, I don't.
Yeah, it's just a number at the end of the day if you're not producing. But my thing with him, man, is like the Warriors, right? We're talking about the Golden State Warriors, and maybe they should have sold, maybe whatever, right? The thing is, they would have been better off selling the idea of they would have been better off selling the idea of Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah, but you know what? Again, it's too late. It's too late. They should have been
Yeah,
did
of
that.
course.
They could have. They
They
could
should have
have.
done that the second they should have done that the second or third year. This offseason probably could have been a good idea.
Yeah, and it's too late because I feel like they already wasted at least 2 prime years of Curry, and they could have got something back already, and they could have been building off
Yeah.
of that.
Because Curry doesn't have that long. He's only 30. He's old 36.
Yeah, so it's not that long, and they're kind of just man. The Warriors, I don't know. It's like you said, they're playing 2 games at once. One game is utilizing Curry's prime. The other game is setting up themselves for the future because they got that new stadium, and they want to. It seems like they want to guarantee that when Curry's gone, that they have another situation right away.
All right.
Yeah, matter of fact, we're gonna really touch base on this Hawks defense and just this overall Hawks squad because this matchup right here, when the Hawks eliminated the Knicks from the Emirates Cup, it really wasn't on Trae Young. We all know Trae Young gets the troll job with the Knicks. He's gonna get the media coverage, but it was this overall team, man. They really played it well.
I
Johnson.
fuck with the Knicks heavy, bro.
Nah, I know, but right now this is really to highlight this Hawks team because they're supposed to be in like a complete rebuild, and I think this rebuild is gonna happen a lot faster than we think. They have
Yeah.
really good size on this team. Johnson is becoming a really good playmaker, and they could kind of emulate what the Cavs are doing right now, and they could also emulate to somewhat degree the Orlando Magic with the size, man. The Hawks have great
It's a
size
big
on this team.
It's a big team.
Yeah, so
If you look at what you got, Jalen Johnson. I think even Dyson Daniels is a decent sized player, like pretty big. You have Ricochet. You obviously you got Big O and Clint Capella in the middle. Man, it's a big ass team.
yeah, so we'll start off with their defense. Like the Hawks giving the Knicks a lot of issues with their size. See, Brunson is being guarded by Daniels, right? So Trae Young is the weak link, but look at Capella. He sticks on McHale. See, like, look how much the Hawks switch. They're kind of hiding right now. They're hiding Trae. They're
On the
trying to put
weaker
Trae
offensive player.
on Josh Hart. Yeah, Trae right here is trying to get to Josh Hart because he's a non-shooter. So see, now we got Cam on Towns, and it's a great closeout right here. And then look who you have underneath for rebounding. And then you got Daniels also could crash out. The Knicks struggled to get offensive rebounds in this game. Like, it was like a combination of them not getting second chance points, the Hawks' length, and them not matching up too well because they kind of play small. So then you had all of a sudden had guys off the bench. What's his name off the bench? Yeah, DeAndre Hunter had 24 points off the bench. It was him. DeAndre Hunter, he killed them. That's what I'm saying. The size killed the Knicks.
Yeah, the Hawks are a deep team. Like, even Bogdanovich, I know he's gotten a lot older, but even he's a good player.
Mm-hmm. All right, so in transition, look at this closeout by Johnson. He blocks OG. OG's not a small dude, man. OG is not a small dude. And then you have Dyson.
And OG strong as shit.
Yeah, and then you have Dyson right on Mikal after that. I'm gonna take a look at it again on this closeout. Look at Johnson. It's a quick closeout, man. Blocks OG. That's what I'm saying. This team is like a little mini they're like a low-key Orlando right here, or like a low-key Cleveland.
Yeah.
You know, Cleveland plays.
They're maximizing Trey's talent on this team, man. Like,
yeah, they can actually hide Trae Young now.
Yeah,
they can actually hide Trae Young. I had a friend
tell me that Trey should leave Atlanta. I'm like, dog, like, this Atlanta team is the most Trae Young team you could ever make.
Yeah, and now, like, originally when they did that trade and got what's his name from San Antonio,
DeJounte.
Yeah, like that was the wrong way for them to kind of mask Trae Young, because everyone thought like, okay, well, they can get him, they could sort of mask Trae Young, but it didn't work, and now we're seeing it kind of work out for them this way.
Also, you're forcing DeJounte to be like the second option too, right? So how exactly would it work? You know, like,
correct,
defense and offense, like, you're gonna have some clashes sometimes. Obviously, like, it's hard to play. It's hard to be a true two-way player when you have more of the responsibility of being in the second ball handler and being kind of the off-ball player. So you're running around on offense too. So it makes it a lot tough to really commit to defense.
Correct. Now, right here, we're gonna see the Hawks' length. Like, once again, like, McBride gets a switch right here, but there's no advantage on this switch, which is crazy. There's no advantage. You got Johnson. Man, Johnson is fucking huge, man. And he's a low-key playmaker. We'll go over it later on.
He's 6'10", right?
Yeah. Man, his playmaking skills have gotten a lot better. He reminds me of a bigger version of Josh Hart. Imagine Josh Hart was a lot bigger, but you see the way Josh Hart could penetrate and dish out the ball and get other people easier shots. That's exactly what Johnson does
Switch
here.
the color.
Yeah, I should switch the color here. Hold on, give me 1 second.
It blends too much in. Just put red for the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, the fucking in-season courts, man. They're all sorts of colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here. Wait, you still can't see? The color is blue.
Okay, now it's blue. Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
It's blue now. All right, so even though after the switch, right, there's no real advantage. Like, these guys are huge. And then look at Cam.
Yeah, and that's Deuce McBride, right? With the ball?
Yeah.
Deuce not shooting over anyone.
Yeah, Deuce is not shooting over these guys. And once again, Johnson is just... Man, this guy's fucking big. Wait, I don't know why I keep calling him Cam.
He's ready to snatch the ball.
Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson is fucking huge, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jalen Johnson with the steal right here. But yeah, he's definitely huge. The Knicks just, you know, at times they're going to play a little bit too small. And I'm wondering if they should, you know, eventually when they get Mitchell Robinson back, if they should play, you know, a lineup.
The double big lineups?
Yeah, or have Precious in there. Precious could hold his own against some of these guys.
How's Precious been this season?
He's been all right. The sample size is not really that big because he literally just got back, but he can pass out of the short roll. He could defend multiple positions. He's kind of what you want.
He's a hustle player. Yeah.
He's not really gonna kill you with the post up scoring, but he can at least make decisions in the short roll.
He's not a stat player. You know what I mean?
No, he's not a stat player, but he's gonna set you good screens. He's gonna grab rebounds,
get your extra possessions.
Yeah, and then he's gonna close out on defenders. He's gonna he's gonna when teams try to get switches, it's not really gonna affect him too much because he can guard, basically almost every position on the floor. He's fast enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Because I know this is his third team, so he's probably gonna go for like a cheap contract eventually.
yeah, the Knicks kind of gave him a cheap contract here.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense because he's coming off what? Miami and Toronto.
Correct. The length is really what's bothering the Hawks. You see, they're trying to pick at Trae Young right here. They're trying to get the switch on Cat, but then look who they have to close out.
That's Hunter.
Yeah, DeAndre Hunter's in there. So now Cat, he gets stripped by Dyson Daniels. See, like the length, the size is fucking really bothering the Knicks in this game.
And Hunter lays off of Josh Hart because Josh Hart's not really a shooter, right?
Yeah, he's not really a
You
shooter.
can cut off the cut by OG.
Mm-hmm. And DeAndre Hunter also has he has some nice girth to him, so he can keep up with certain guys.
This Hawks team is young. I think Hunter was drafted 2019, so he's only like 24, 25. Dyson's young. Jalen is like 23, 22. Even Trey is only 26. This is a very young team. 2019 draft, I assume like 2025, 26, Trey got to be around that age. And then you obviously DeAndre Hunter, he's in 2019 draft. So I think he probably should be like 24. 24 years old, 24, 25 range.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think the Hawks kind of jumped the rebuild a lot more, and it's not really getting talked about too much.
Oh no, Hunter's 27.
They should be in a nice position probably by next season.
Hunter is 27. So what year was draft age? So I assume he got drafted a lot older. Oh, he was 21 years old when he got drafted.
Mm-hmm.
But 27, so he's entering his prime. So there's a young team we're talking about, The oldest quote unquote young talent is DeAndre Hunter with 24, and he's coming off the bench.
So here's some more lockdown defense by the Hawks right here. Of course they got Dyson on Brunson, and just no matter where they go, the Knicks are sort of in no man's land. See, even after the closeout, Trae Young tries to hedge right here. He misses, but they got guys, man. They got guys. Like, you got Dyson on the chase down. There's like really nowhere to go. See, Okongwu, he's right there to contest. Like, there's really nowhere for these guys to go. And yeah, I mean, just
they could crash on like Mikal right now has a breathing room, but they could crash on him easy right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay with the same possession right here.
Yeah,
and it's just
you could tell the Knicks missed Mitchell Robinson big time.
Yeah, OG man, right here. This is a great contest.
Because imagine if Carl could like full time stretch the floor, it'd be a lot harder for Atlanta to kind of use like their length.
Mm-hmm. And one more time, OG, when he gets this kind of dribble handoff from Precious, like, look when he goes in. Look at Dyson. Dyson with the reach. Like, there's a lot of fucking size.
With the good close off.
Yeah. There's just a lot. And then, Kongu just keeps up with him. Like, this is a real...
Look how they force Jalen to kind of change his body.
Yeah. And the Knicks really got a tough shot. The Knicks really got a tough shot, man. And at the very last second, I mean, look at the shot clock right here with OG taking this tough contested shot after almost getting stripped.
Yeah, like, they didn't give a shit about Jalen giving time anymore.
Yeah, and this is the part about this game because Trae Young, he took 22 shots and scored 22 points, but they kind of emphasized on him, like, because, it kind of looks sexy with him trolling the Knicks. But what really was the sexy part was the Hawks' overall team chemistry, team defense, the playmaking from Johnson.
Offense sells tickets.
Yeah, but he was shit. 22 points on 22 shots.
Yeah, I agree he was shit, but like the average fan, you're not gonna sell them their defensive fucking possessions of Dyson Daniels and Okongwu. You're just gonna sell them like Trae Young rolling the dice. But I know what you mean. Like the credit should go to the defense. The Hawks overall, they're just a good defensive team. That's why I don't get like. That's why I don't really sleep on the Hawks. Like with how weak the East is, right?
Mhm.
Besides Boston and like New York, right? Like these teams could go from anywhere. We saw the Bucks have like a dog shit record to not being like one of the competitive teams in the span of what, a month and a half. So the East is much more open than we think. Even like Philadelphia has a chance to kind of rise up because of how open the East is, you know?
True. The East is kind of going through a transition. I would say the top of the Eastern Conference is going through a transition that they weren't going through before, because the East has always kind of been not as good, but it was more in the middle tier to the bottom. It wasn't the top,
Yeah.
because remember we had the Celtics, we had Giannis when they were healthy, we had the 76ers when they were healthy, but now all these teams have kind of, well, Giannis in a way is kind of rising back up through the ranks. But you know, there's been a shift in the Eastern Conference a little
Well,
bit.
I have to give Cleveland their flowers. They've been consistent being top seed.
They've been in the middle pack, because remember last year they regressed off of that elimination that they were coming off of
Well, they tanked. They tanked
against the
last year.
Knicks.
They
No,
tanked last year at the end of the season.
they just had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking at the end of the season. They made sure they tanked a little bit because they wanted to match up against Orlando.
Yeah, but just going back more to the Hawks offense right here. Now Dyson Daniels, of course, is on Brunson. Great navigating through these screens. Look at the length of, damn, Cam Johnson is really a fucking problem. Nice closeout by Zachary. Look at the Hawks defense.
Cam Johnson?
Yeah, look at the Hawks defense, man. Shot clock violation, bro.
Yeah.
Like they really fucked the Knicks up in this game.
Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, Jalen Johnson. My bad. I don't know why I keep calling him that. Yeah, Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, bro. We have a lot of Johnsons in the NBA.
Yeah, there's a lot, and there's a lot of Jalen's. Holy shit.
Yeah, that too.
There's a lot of fucking Jalen's.
I mean, there's two sharing the court right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking Jalen's.
Yeah.
But yeah, another possession where the Knicks just, the shot clock basically expiring, them struggling to get something off. Yeah, like I said, I want to give the Hawks team overall credit, because I think, you know, the Trae Young celebration at the Garden was a little bit too overblown, because he's really celebrating, again, 22 points on 22 shots. But, you know, overall,
the Hawks
this Hawks team,
they're just not a sexy team. They're just not a sexy team in franchise, so people don't like pay much real estate to them, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
But they're coached pretty well. I like Quinn Snyder as a coach. Like, I'm a big fan of Quinn Snyder as a head coach. I liked him in Utah, and I like him here.
So, yeah, this is a great pass by Mikal Johnson underneath the hoop. Man, we rarely see OG. And, yeah, the Knicks got to fight for every little thing that they get in this game. Like, they had to fight for every little bucket. Like, Jalen Johnson's a fucking problem, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, he's the Megatron version of Josh Hart.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Yeah, like even on the offensive end. Like I'm looking at Josh Hart right now on the screen. He's much smaller. They have the same attributes, man. Relentless defense, and on offense, they setting things up for other players, and they both can't really shoot. All right, so now with Brunson, look when he attacks. Yo, they close out his attacking lane so fucking fast. Dyson, Capella, and Zachary, they all close out. And they're taking advantage of Josh Hart being right here in the corner. Maybe Josh should have backdoor real quick.
Yeah.
They trapped Brunson real fast. But that's not even the craziest part. Now,
even the backdoor cuts from these clips, it hasn't really worked out for the Knicks. And it's like the OG backdoor cut.
Yeah, because you know what? This team is really big. But Cat right here, because he's such a three-point threat, he normally will pull up and just take this shot. But that's why Capella closed out so hard. But now Cat, the good thing about him, he goes downhill crazy. But look, once he goes downhill, look Dyson is already blocking his attacking lane. Already.
Yeah.
But against the Bucks, man, he killed Brook Lopez like this. He's killed other centers throughout the season.
They're more slow-footed, bro.
Yeah, they're much slow-footed.
Like Brook is more slow-footed.
Yeah, like Vooch in Chicago, Cat killed him. A lot of centers Cat has gone up against. The one in Phoenix, what's his name? Nurk.
Nurkic.
Yeah, he killed them the same way. But look, the Hawks. This is
The
why
Hawks are just long wings.
Yeah.
You know, they can catch up on
and
speed.
this is why we have to watch this fucking team, because it's like, wow, like this rebuild, it might really go their way. Trae Young might not have to go anywhere.
No, I
don't think he has to
always
go
thought it
anywhere.
was stupid. I always thought it was like the only reason why I ever entertained a Trae Young deal is like this DeJounte Murray thing didn't work out, and I think the Hawks they didn't beat a dying animal. They said, yeah, okay, it's not working. Like,
Nah, you're 100% right. But yeah, we're gonna go right back to the film here. All right, so Cat now is gonna attack like he normally does, going downhill. But look who meets him right there. And look at Jalen Johnson, man. Look at Jalen Johnson. And you got Capella. But look at Jalen. Sheesh. Like, that's one hell of a contest. And that's normally a play that Towns this season, he's been killing other centers with. He's been killing other centers with that exact play. Because remember, that's Capella earlier in the play closing out on Towns real hard, preventing him from shooting the three. And that's when Towns normally goes downhill and starts dunking on guys. And that's when we've seen this season Towns with all these celebrations, talking his shit, showing more personality.
Bodega Cat.
Yeah, but right there, they didn't allow for that to happen because of Zachary, Rozier, Dyson Daniels, Capella, and Jalen Johnson. This is a different Hawks fucking team, man. Like, what do you think?
I think that's why they also drafted like Ricochet. Like, I think a lot of people like they didn't care or they didn't know the weight of his draft, or they wanted Sar. But this is why they drafted him. They didn't draft him to be an offensive player.
No, they definitely did not.
No, he just needs to be an off-ball player.
And this is all outside of Dyson Daniels being a lockdown on ball, a lockdown point of attack defender. Like Brunson coming off this screen, he's meeting one-on-one with DeAndre Hunter. Right?
Yes.
And then, Mikal kind of got a good shot off here. Still got contested. But this right here was the Knicks' problem. Grabbing offensive boards, like timely offensive boards during this game. They could not get shit. The Hawks were just all over it. Look at that. Look at all those players underneath the hoops. Like the Knicks, another problem for them this season is going to be, because, last year they had Mitch grabbing all those offensive boards. Who else besides OG and Josh Hart fights down low? That's the only thing when you sacrifice and you get so much finesse with guys like Bridges and Brunson and Towns. There's not too many guys down low that's going to be fighting for boards.
Yeah, they're going to miss like Hartenstein and Randle big time.
Oh, for sure. Especially Hartenstein. He was the one getting them the boards. We'll see what happens when Mitchell Robinson makes the return.
I think Mitchell Robinson will be a lot more healthier coming off the bench.
Now, what do you think about Dyson Daniels this season?
He's good, man.
Yeah. Point of it.
I know, like, we sit on the Pelicans a lot, but their scouting team is pretty, like, their scouting team's on point.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, they know how to draft.
Yeah, for sure. Like you were the first one to say, hey, I think the Hawks won that trade for DeJounte Murray when they traded him to the Pelicans. Actually, you was the first one to call it out. He was like, I think the Hawks won that trade.
Yeah, I think
because a lot of people were focused on the DeJounte Murray part.
Yeah, they were focused on DeJounte and Zion.
Yeah,
but
Dyson Daniels was really the gem of that trade. But I don't fault the Pelicans for giving him up. They have too many guys that are the same.
Yeah, you kind of have to play Jordan Hawkins. You have to play other younger guys off the bench. You got Herb Jones. So you
Mm-hmm.
kind of have a lot of players that kind of do similar things to Dyson Daniels. And I think Herb Jones is a better version of Dyson Daniels. So
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't hurt to trade him.
Nope. And right here, as we see Brunson in transition, Dyson kind of, ooh, sheesh. Dyson and Zachary.
Yeah.
Yo, and then look
Well,
who grabs the board, Johnson. Sheesh, man, I'm telling you.
even like backtrack on even the New Orleans, I never have a criticism with how they built their team.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the help.
So you don't have no criticism on how they built their team. 'Cause I felt like that trade that they made
No,
with the Lakers, they should have dumped some of those assets faster, man. They should have dumped some of them.
they should have done Lonzo a lot sooner. I think they probably should have kept Hart because Hart was like liked by the organization. Also, the Steven Adams, like there was moves they made bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, but I think overall, I don't really like have like the harsh criticism of them. You know?
Yeah, you don't. That's interesting. Yeah, man, me, I feel like I still do because I feel like they suffer from what most teams like them suffer from, which is
Yeah,
the best available. Let's keep drafting the best available. Hey, we traded
yeah,
AD. We just got these guys that are all first round picks, but it's just like, they just got the best available. They should
yeah,
have made moves with those. Once they made the trade with the Lakers, got rid of AD. Let's flip these picks again. The same way you seen the who flipped the Portland Trailblazers. You see how quickly
they
they
flipped
flipped
Dame.
Drew Holiday?
Yeah, Dame Holiday, and then they became what was it? Brogdon and Robert Williams. You know,
Exactly.
and also my criticism of the Pelicans, right, is the coaching. I think the Pelicans, how they handle coaching with like Alvin Gentry, then you go from Van Gundy for a season. Now you go with what's the dude's name and the current coach?
Chauncey Billups.
No, no, not. I'm talking Pelicans. Their current coach is
Oh yeah, nah, I don't even know. Man, that team is all over the place. I know you're talking about
Willie Green.
yeah. He did a good job. I think he did a good job, but I just think that franchise has no direction.
Yeah, it's a directionless franchise.
Yeah, he's not the GM. He's not the GM of that
Yeah.
team.
No, it's a guy who won with Cleveland. And then
Oh
David
yeah.
Griffin.
You know what? I still think the NBA somewhat still has control of that team. Because remember, the Pelicans, they had the original GM that did not want to make that Anthony Davis trade. Just because Anthony
Yeah,
Davis wanted to leave. And then
Del Dibbs.
yeah, and then all of a sudden this dude got appointed, and all of a sudden the Anthony Davis trade was a green light. I just think,
Yeah.
the NBA, they still have their hands tied with the Pelicans. Because remember,
Yeah, I mean, dude, I
the
don't think
family
the
that
Saints
bought
are
it,
just gonna.
the family that bought it, they were kind of, I don't want to say they were forced to buy it, but it's almost like the NBA begged them to buy it.
Yeah, because they're the most influential family in that city.
Yeah, so it was like,
Yeah.
it's always the Pelicans. I kind of look at it like an NBA G League team that happened to be in the NBA. Like,
Well, also the thing
my
is
bad,
like the
not the
owners.
team, a G League franchise. I should say that.
Yeah. The owners, the New Orleans market is good. Also, the owners care more about the Saints because Saints are cash cow. Well,
True.
I think New Orleans is a good city for basketball. I do, but I just think like we just need to like give it more of a reason to give a shit about basketball. Because they care about the NFL, they care about their college sports.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if you put an owner like Steve Ballmer down there, I think the program would have looked a lot different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just is a sports market that's just desperate for like a couple of consistent years of basketball.
Mm-hmm. But going back to Dyson Daniels again,
Yeah,
like just look at him on Brunson. Yo, Dyson is all over the fucking place, man. Another shot clock violation. That's what I said. None of this was sexy to talk about. They focused on Trae Young a little bit too much, but it was this overall Hawks team, man. It's a different fucking identity, man.
No, the way he was able to control his body on the defensive end, man. Like
Yeah, it's
while he
crazy,
did
right?
yeah.
They really made Brunson work for everything. Look at Dyson just
Yeah.
chasing him. Like, this is a tough and one, but that's how hard Brunson had to work the whole fucking night. Yeah, right here, Brunson has nowhere to go. Like, on these switches, now he's right on DeAndre Hunter. Look at that. He has nowhere to go, man. All his lanes are, like, closed off. These guys are long as fuck. Pause, but god damn. And Cat with a tough contested shot. Daniels on the closeout. Now these are interesting times for the Hawks. Again, they try to get a switch on Brunson and just his attacking lanes. Like, where is it at? Look at all the guys he has to go up against. These are some big bodies. Nowhere to go.
Yeah, they forced catch to an uncomfortable 3 right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just nowhere to go for Brunson.
Mikal could have done a cut.
Yeah, but you know what? It's like, you know, Cam and Daniels and just for Brunson to get that pass. Like, the entry pass is hard as fuck against that kind of perimeter defense.
Big. Yeah. Because you got Jalen, you got Cam just like making it difficult to get that pass off.
Yeah, and DeAndre Hunter also, his rebounding. They caught the Knicks quite a few times with the offensive rebounding because once again, they play so big. And I wish I had the clip saved of Cam Johnson making plays and easier shots for his teammates. He was playmaking. That shit was beautiful, man. I'm telling you, that was really the combination in this game that kind of put the Hawks over the edge. It wasn't Trae Young, and again, it's not really sexy to talk about, but it was really a combination of just their team defense, Cam Johnson making plays as the initial person, you know, attacking with the ball, not Trae Young coming down the court. He just generated different kind of offense for them. And the Knicks really couldn't handle their size. They really could not. The next one, you want to talk about Cade?
Oh, that's the one I'm looking forward to, man.
All right, let's go to Cade.
The Pistons are the Pistons are actually decent this season, man.
Yeah, they are, and that's another thing I want to talk about. Like, it's I think it's caught a lot of people by surprise.
Yeah, JB Bickerstaff's a solid coach.
Yeah, and that too, because they got him as a coach, and that's the criticism he got in Cleveland, is that Mobley and Garland kind of stagnated, and all of a sudden he goes to Detroit, and now all of a sudden it's like, hey, Cade and the Pistons, they're winning not only a lot more games than they did last season already, but they look different, man. They got a little pep to their step. They got a little pep to their step.
Bickerstaff is a good cultural coach.
Say that again.
He's a good coach for culture.
Oh yeah, definitely. And
because I do think like Cavs fans shit on him a lot, but if it wasn't for him, the Cavs culture like would have been stuck another decade. Like, you know, JB came in Cleveland and he was able to quickly fix it up. So like what, LeBron left 2018, right? And he made the Cavs a player in what, 2022, 2021.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he made the playoffs in the 2022-2023 season.
Yeah, so he's been able to make them into a player. So I think like 2022, so you're like... So in a 4-year span, he's able to make them into like a decent playoff contender. And that was even before Donovan came to the team, that they were a solid, 9th seed? And that was when he took over, I believe. He took over that, where was it, 2021 season?
I mean, regardless, like, you know, the Cavs, they came up, but people really thought, you know, Garland and what's his name stagnated. Garland and Mobley stagnated. Yeah. But now we see with Cade and, you know, this Detroit Pistons team and what's his name? Holland?
Yeah.
The second, what's his name?
Ron Holland.
Yeah, Ron Holland. He's starting to come around.
Yeah, but I think the player, like, besides Cade Cunningham, who's impressed me a lot, is Asura. I think Asura is going to be someone, like, as he continues figuring out his game, he's going to be a legit, like, maybe even a possible number 2 option.
Yeah, but look at Cade, man. The no look pass right here.
Oh, right now I'm like watching the Jalen Johnson clip.
And just a nasty feed right here.
Oh, that was a clean ass. Dude, that Miami game was incredible.
Yeah, he had 18 assists in this game.
Yeah.
Like just that no look pass was just ooh.
Bro, it's like he's so good playing at the open floor. And I think what helps him is his size. He can rebound. He can just, obviously with his rebounding ability, it reminds me a lot of Russ. You know how he creates open possessions for other players running down, you know?
Yeah, but he doesn't operate too fast. You know what I mean? Sometimes Russell Westbrook plays too fast for his own players.
Yeah.
And Cade looks like, he's in the Matrix, man. He's just at his own speed.
He does a good job controlling the game.
Mm-hmm. Great job at controlling the game, man.
Yeah.
Again, he's moving at his own speed, as we can see right here. Look at Cade in transition. That was a nice pass, but the Pistons, unfortunately, in this game, they could not finish a lot of shots. He would have had more than 18 assists had they had guys who could really finish and knock down some of these open shots.
Yeah.
But it's just part of the progression.
But yeah, you see how he controls the open floor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know, but it was a good pass.
Had they had more guys who could finish, he would have had more than 18 assists in this game.
Yeah. Bro, the Pistons overall, I like their team a lot. I think right now they're young. I think also I gotta give credit, like Cade Cunningham, bro. One thing I noticed about him is even on offense, he attacks the basket pretty well, which he's able to draw in defenders. I don't know if you have clips of it in your recordings, but that's one thing that also impressed me along with his ability to play on the open floor.
No, yeah, we got clips on that. We got clips on that. Here's one right here. He has real good patience too. What were we just talking about is missing that. Kuminga.
Yeah,
Kuminga is missing that.
Kuminga misses his ability to draw in defenders. Where Cade thrives on that shit. Even Franz thrived on it. All three of the players we talked about, right? Franz and Scotty and Cade Cunningham from that draft class. One thing, if you notice, they're really good at drawing in defenders.
True.
But I think Cade is a lot better than those two I mentioned at drawing in defenders.
Yep. Now right here, off this pick, notice Cade, unlike Kuminga I spoke about earlier, he takes a step in the direction of where they're spacing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's something that Kuminga wasn't doing, and then he patiently waits this out to see how it plays out.
But he does a great job in using the screen.
Mm-hmm. And that's something, I don't know if that's just natural. Maybe guys are just too overzealous. They're used to just operating in one speed.
Yeah.
But this is something that Kuminga, if he could just take a page out of some of the patience from Cade, man, he could be a completely different player.
Cade isn't an overly quick player. He's just a smart player that's good first step and he's strong.
But that's the thing about Kuminga. It seems like he's trying to be overly quick 24/7 without utilizing the different speeds.
Yeah. Because Cade controls the pace with a string.
Mm-hmm. Look at Cade right here in transition. This is a nice pass. Nice finish. That's the thing about the Pistons, man. Can they fucking finish?
That's one thing they struggle in. Even this Miami game, they had a good game, but they had to go to overtime to win the game. And I think it was a Cade buzzer beater, if I'm not wrong, that won them the game.
Mm-hmm. In this game, I'm not sure. I forgot how it ended, but I
remember I watched it. Yeah.
Wait, say that again?
I remember watching it going overtime, and it took like all the way to the last seconds of overtime to really decide a winner. Miami just doesn't know. And this was Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero didn't have that ideal game. It was Jimmy.
Right. Again, here's some more of that Cade patience, just letting things kind of play out, scoping everything.
Yeah.
Ooh, he drew He drew in Bam nice. He drew in Bam nice. Let's see that again. Like, yeah, Bam completely was drawn in because it looked like he was gonna drive. And
Yeah.
he kind of just helped his teammate
Yeah, that's
grab an
one thing he's
easier
really good
bucket.
at, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good at drawing in defenders.
I'm telling you, this is the exact opposite from what we watched from Kuminga. Kuminga just
Kuminga
operates
doesn't know how to
with
do
one
that.
speed. He just tries to outbeat you with speed, and he ends up taking a more difficult shot.
Yeah.
Because remember, he missed out on what's his name, Pods, a couple of times. He missed out on some other open shooters, Gary Payton. But Cade, on the other hand, is operating almost at one speed, but he utilizes his positioning a lot better. He utilizes the open space better. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes he draws you in and he quickly watches the play develop. I mean, he slowly watches the play develop and then he passes last minute.
Yeah.
That shit is natural. You can't teach that. And then here's some plays where the Pistons, they really can't finish. And this is why I said, like, this is a super young team. Once they have guys that are more complete around Cade, I think we're going to see a definite all-star, a guy who's going to be putting up Tyrese Halliburton assist type numbers from early last season.
You know,
consistently.
One thing we can critique the Pistons on is their last year's failure. So we're watching this team finally like really develop, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a team that didn't really get the chance to develop last year.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so we're going here.
It's like it's unfair to compare them like Orlando or Rockets, you know? I think last year's Rockets was kind of the Rockets' chance to really like figure out what they are. Where I can say the Pistons are like in the same boat as the Rockets last year. They're figuring out what they are.
Yeah, but right here, we're gonna see again, as I was saying.
Yeah.
You know, once the Pistons put more polished players around Cade, his assist numbers should be way higher.
Yeah,
they have quite a few guys that
of...
weren't able to finish. Look, this is an alley dunk right here, right?
Yeah,
this is
for
an alley
Durant.
dunk right here, right? But look,
for Durant, right?
Yeah, but Durant is not able to finish that. This happened a lot in this game. But what were you saying?
But what I'm saying is, I think the Pistons. You know, I don't know if you have any clips of him and Malik Beasley, but those guys, they have great chemistry together.
Yeah, Beasley shocked me this season. He's actually their second best scorer right now.
Yeah, he's their second best player. I wrote an article on him recently. I posted like a couple of days ago.
Yeah, like why? What's up with the uptake this season from Beasley? This is like he's like rejuvenated.
A bigger role.
Oh, it's a bigger role?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's how I spark it up too, you know?
Now, right here, we're going to see Cade run pick and roll.
Yeah.
One of the Thompson twins, and you see how he just misses that? Like, this is what I mean. Like, once these guys kind of get more polished, some of the younger players around him, his assist number is going to be way higher.
Way higher, yeah. I think like even the other guy, he's out right now. That's a lot. Like you said, there's a lot of what's the dude's name, man? The one who got struggled to get minutes on the Pistons last year. You know what I'm talking about. Oh man, the Jaden Ivey.
Oh, Jaden Ivey. Yeah, I was about to say it.
Yeah,
to call him something else. Yeah, he was hyped up. A lot of people thought the Pistons got a steal with him.
Yeah, so I kind of have to see how he plays up to it because like. He's been inconsistent, but I also give him a lot of breathing room because he was in a shit situation last year.
And that's the thing. Nowadays, we were talking about that shit before, man. Nowadays,
a lot of
these teams, they're so stacked with talent, and there's so much talent coming into the league.
These
players are going to have less breathing room nowadays.
With him, I think it was mismanagement more than talent.
You think so? But at least he has a breathing room where that can get corrected. Now you look at the Rockets. Imagine that happened in Houston. A young player doesn't have the breathing room for management to fuck up a year for him, because
I just think
look at that team.
I just think Monty Williams didn't do his homework before taking the job. Because he was insistent on playing Killian. The thing is, like the reason why Killian doesn't work is you're seeing these clips. Cade is a guy who has to draw in the defenders to create plays. When you have a guy who's a fucking negative oxygen, if you're a defender, you're not stupid. You're gonna be like, all right, we're just gonna clash on Cade Cunningham because like Killian's not gonna make shit. But you have guys like Malik Beasley, right? One of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA right now, right? Like, it's like no surprise that, the defenses are having to like focus in and the floor has been more open for Cade to make those extra passes. Because he has legitimate guys who can hit shots around him.
Yep. And just going back to the film here, Cade, he gives guys chances, man. Look at Thompson. He's wide open for this three.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he doesn't convert, but in this game, he went back to him again. And he knocked down the three, to cut into that lead, to help this team actually get into that overtime. So, Cade, man, he got good faith in his teammates. He's a solid guy, man. He's a solid guy. His teammates really fuck with him, too.
The culture around the Pistons is fun. I think they got veterans who give a shit too, and that's why I give Malik a lot of credit too, because he seems like another guy who it seems like the Pistons locker room likes him.
Yeah, I never seen Malik look this happy, bro. Who would have ever thought he would get happy going to Detroit? Because Detroit is usually where guys go where their careers end up dying. Die. Yeah, AKA Blake Griffin. It seems like. Blake was already hurt though, but you know what I mean. Like there's certain guys that go there, you never hear from them again.
Yeah, after 2019, he was done. But Malik Beasley, he made a statement which I found interesting. He talked about bringing back Detroit culture. So
yeah, man, they got a rich basketball history.
Yeah, so I think for him it's kind of not only a rejuvenation, but it seems like he wanted to be the locker room guy, and he's taken that. It's gonna give him a long-term job, because as of late, Malik has taken in cheap-ass deals, right? So if, this whole kind of the Pistons run, it's gonna rejuvenate his career, and he's gonna get a long-term deal because he's gonna be seen as a player who kind of is a good locker room leader.
Yep, but I like in this game how Jimmy Butler, in a way, when the game is coming down, it's a 1-point lead by the Pistons. Yeah. Jimmy blitzes right here. He blitzes Cade. He catches him lovely, though, because, these guys, they don't have enough experience. So when the game gets tight and close at the end of these games, these veterans, they know exactly what to do. And Jimmy baits him lovely right here.
Yeah, Cade's only negative you could say is his closing abilities.
Yeah. But, it comes with experience. The more these guys are in these type of games, these type of close, tight, high pressurized environments, they'll do better. They'll do better. Like these are good problems to have for Cade, because it's been very unfortunate. Like, how much competitive basketball has he really had?
No, he hasn't really played competitive basketball. He hasn't been on a consistent roster.
Exactly.
So I think if you're Asur Thompson, Ivy, if you're Ron Holland, even Durant, this is good learning curves you get, because now how to keep a team on their toes, right? You just got to learn how to deliver and secure a win.
Knicks. Yeah, Cade really showed off against the Knicks though, but I think they blew them out. Actually, they kind of they kicked their ass at the Garden.
Yeah,
what's one advantage with the Pistons that I like this season is that sometimes they have, what's his name, Harris, bring the ball up, and it gives them a different look. They actually have a vet that they can, at least trust to bring the ball up, not lose it, and also make an entry pass. And now Cade can operate out of that. They didn't really have too much of that, and now this season they kind of have more of that with Tim Hardaway Jr. They can trust with that, and also Beasley. Because didn't they get rid of Quentin Grimes? Hardaway. Yeah, they got rid of Quentin Grimes. They didn't trust a few guys, Kevin Knox, and now you can see other guys, kind of set things up, because right now when you have Harris operating like that, operating the pick and roll, they can actually use Cade in different ways. It open things up. Sometimes the Hawks, they kind of utilize this too.
Yeah.
With Jalen Johnson, they have him bring up the ball. Now, what's his name? Trae Young could be more in a catch and shoot role because Jalen is so big, and also he could make plays for others while they're making cuts. So now the defenses, they kind of have to switch up a little bit. And the same thing for the Knicks. Sometimes the Knicks have Josh Hart bring up the ball, and now Brunson is more in a catch and shoot role while Mikal and OG are making cuts. So the Pistons for Cade, they actually now have different looks that they can sort of allow him to operate in. He doesn't always have to be the guy bringing up the ball. Like that's really what I like about them this season. They have players that they can trust more. And that's sometimes a thing that gets overlooked. You know, like a vet, that can bring the ball up. He can operate the pick and roll. He can penetrate. And your all-star player doesn't always have to be on ball now. Now you can run different options.
Yeah. But last season, man, the Pistons spacing was trash. You look at this season, look how good the spacing is.
Yeah, they gave up on Quentin Grimes fast, man. They had no real shooters.
And they didn't. And I think Tim Hardaway and Malik Beasley, they add a lot to the team.
Mm-hmm.
And then I swear Thompson, man, that guy can cut. He's a great off-ball player we're talking about. I think guys like Sasori is getting more opportunities. So the Pistons are just a good overall team with good dynamics. So, last year they didn't have much veteran presence. Joe Harris kind of declared retirement mid-season. He didn't really play. I remember, who else was their veteran? Bogdanovich, he got traded to the Knicks. So, and Alec Burks also got traded to the Knicks. So now they have a solid veteran core, guys who want to be there. They're not really looking to be traded. They want to build up their value while building up this Knicks team. So it's a win-win situation for the Knicks.
So this right here was what I was talking about with what's his name bringing up the ball. You see now with Harris bringing up the ball,
yeah,
Cade now has the opportunity to post up on Brunson. He gets these kind of matchups. You know what I mean? These are just the type of looks that the Pistons can get. You see with Harris bringing up the ball, instantly now you have different looks. Now Cade could use that big body, and if he draws a mismatch, now he has Brunson on the empty side. You see what I mean? This is something that the Pistons really couldn't do last season too much. Who do they have other than Cade to bring up the ball that they trusted? They really trusted. Look, Tim Hardaway could do the same. Harris could do it, and also what's his name? Beasley.
Yeah, you have three guys who can really handle the ball.
Yeah, with plenty of experience now. So now Cade has options to actually be in a situation where he can post up a player like Brunson on the empty side. He has all this space to operate in.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at Cade once again just gliding in the lane. Brings the ball up, looks like he's gonna take a shot and just baits the whole defense. Harris just misses that open shot. Man, imagine they just surround him with some shooters. Oh man, Cade looked like he's gonna have football numbers for assists. Let's see, Cade. Oh, some nice sexy dribble moves. Man, how many times he touches the paint while dribbling the ball? This guy just fully waits it out. And yeah, that is Beasley, right? Number 5?
Yeah, number 5 is Beasley.
Beasley with the open shot. Easy money. But you saw how many times Cade touched the paint while dribbling the ball and never giving up on his fucking dribble?
Yeah.
That right there is Kuminga's issue in the pick and rolls. How many times is he still holding the ball? How many times is he still dribbling? He quickly gives it up and he's trying to be aerial. He's trying to use his athleticism off rip. Sometimes, I'm not sure if you noticed in the other game film, even when he's behind a defender coming off the screen, he's already giving up his dribble to go airborne.
Yeah.
He's already starting to gather his steps.
But I also think due to the lack of athleticism, Cade is much more grounded in how he plays.
Mm-hmm. That's a good
Yeah.
point. That's a good point. So,
And then he'll use a lot more finesse, where Kuminga lacks finesse, despite being a lot more athletic than Cade, for example. Like Cade reminds me of a European player, man.
yeah, in a way, yeah, that's kind of true. He uses like a
Like
triple.
you're not really seeing American flashy player with this guy.
Nah, he's almost like a smarter, like a more. Wow, he's like a more efficient Ben Simmons. Like he's almost like what people wanted Ben Simmons to be, without the athleticism.
Yeah,
But he has
I think Ben's
athleticism. He
game.
just uses it differently.
Ben had a more charming game.
Yeah. Check out Cade. Look at this pass right here. Sheesh. Wow. Yeah, Cade is something else, man.
He's special.
He got like that J Kidd kind of vibe to him, cause he's tall.
Yeah.
He's tall.
So he's able to look over.
Yeah.
He's able to look over other guards.
Man, I'm just imagining him around a bunch of real shooters.
That's something they need to get off the free agency market or draft.
But yeah, I gotta see that again. Cade just attacking, staying patient. Ooh, nice pass.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that was right on the money, man. I didn't even think that was even possible when you see him get in the paint there. Pistons, yeah. He really gets the offense going here. Cade
And he's
really,
a good off-ball player, man.
Mhm.
I think that's one thing Cade's game is really good. He's a good spot-up shooter.
Yeah, he's staring at Brunson right here. Brunson thinks he's going somewhere in here. He kind of looks off everyone. OG is, telling he's telling someone to focus on Harris, but Cade really has his eye on the roller here, Isaiah.
Yeah.
And it gets the Pistons offense going. Great ball movement, but it all really started with Cade right there. You saw that Cade looked them off.
Where he just has good vision of the floor. And he has
Yeah, he really
talented,
does.
like I said, talented off-ball players, man. Like Tobias Harris, the veterans, all three of them, Harris, Beasley, Tim Hardaway, like those guys, they're great veteran guys to have. That's why I was a fan of like them signing Tobias Harris from the start. Because I'm like, yeah, it's not a sexy name and Harris isn't a playoff player, but they don't really need Tobias to be a playoff player. They need Tobias to help them lead to the playoffs. But they don't need Tobias to in later rounds as compared to like Philadelphia.
Yeah. Philadelphia needed they were missing shooters. The only thing Detroit, they're missing a more polished
Second option.
Yeah, that's really what they're missing. Yeah, other than that, you have anything else to say on Cade and the Pistons?
Bro, Cade and the Pistons, man. Like I said, bro, I think I've repeated it. The Pistons, like JB Bickerstaff, deserves a lot of credit. I think he's finally built a team around Cade Cunningham in the front office too, the new one with Langdon. They've done a good job building them a roster, having guys who can really play off of Cade. He's done a good job in kind of the defensive end of the Pistons, and on offense, the Pistons have been solid. So credit to JB Bickerstaff. He knows how to build a culture in Cleveland. He just done that before. He's building a culture in Detroit, which hopefully, thrives, because the NBA is better with a team like the Pistons, man.
A lot of
the
history.
Midwest teams are always fun.
Yeah, the Pistons are a franchise with a lot of history.
The Midwest is just fun in general. Indiana, Chicago, Detroit, they're fun. Milwaukee, they're fun. So you just want them to have a good team, because those fan bases kind of deserve it. They're fun. They're hardcore about their teams.
Definitely, for sure.
And
Definitely.
the veterans too. Like the Pistons overall as a team, they're enjoyable. I think the younger guys from Asur Thompson, Marcus Sarcer, Jaden Ivey, Duran, I'm probably Ron Holland. They're very fun. They're watchable guys. I think even the veterans have been watchable. I think Malik Beasley, he's having a fun season.
Yeah,
this year.
which is shocking, man. I was shocked. I was like, is that Beasley cooking over there like that?
He's having fun.
That's crazy.
He's playing his game. Bro, there's times where I have to I sometimes think number 30 is playing out there when I watch him play. I'm like, damn.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. He's been great. Tobias Harris, he's always going to be a solid veteran. Overhated because of his big contracts in Philadelphia, but he's always going to be solid. And Tim Hardaway Jr., same thing. Like a little overpaid throughout his career, but he's always going to be solid.
Mm-hmm. Now, the quick question I want to ask you before we go: do you think that the Pistons, what kind of identity do you think they're slowly starting to build? Is it like a more physical identity, or do you think they're going for more jump shooting?
More physical.
More physical? Yeah,
I think they just have the personnel for more physical. Because I forgot to give credit to Isaiah Stewart. But Isaiah Stewart or Sir Thompson, they're more physical players, and they're like, you know what I mean? Like, I think outside of Cade, they have much more physical players.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think?
I think they're going for some sort of they're going for more physicality. The only thing is that they're slowly probably going to start fishing for some more shooters.
Yeah, they have to.
They added Tim Hardaway. They added Beasley. I think the shooters is what really is going to open things up for them and kind of modernize their offense, because a lot of the Midwest and East Coast teams, they're still, I don't want to say they're stuck on the old way of just running an offense, but like the Knicks, this is the first season we're seeing the Knicks actually having a modern offense that fits the current NBA. You know what I mean? And Philadelphia took time to adapt because they were still trying to force themselves to build around Ben Simmons. And, it's like slowly some of these more old school East Coast franchises, and I know the Pistons are not really East Coast, but them, Chicago, the Midwest teams, they sort of operate with the same mindset. They're not as analytically driven as some of the, the West Coast counterparts, but they love drafting strong power forwards. These organizations, they love it, but they're slowly kind of getting out of that mindset and beginning to open things up. I think it's really going to help out
strong
Cade.
Power forwards, they have been playing a big role. Like I think the Knicks rebuild, you could give credit to a strong power forward. Same with Detroit Pistons and Isaiah Stewart. And I think like the Knicks coast, they don't really hire analytic coaches, to be honest with you, as compared to the West.
They don't, but I don't think they have to. But I think it's really the player selection. You know what I'm saying? Like the Knicks, this is the first time when they got Cat, they've actually adopted their offense now to kind of open things up for Brunson more. And I think it's the same approach in a way that maybe the Pistons, maybe if they get a decent pick in the draft, maybe they can try to find a stretch, big to open things up more for Cade to even cook better, to get Jalen Ivey better shots, to get Holland better shots, to get Beasley even cooking even better. Like these things are the beginning, I would say, dominoes to fall to cause things to open up for everyone else. And I think certain NBA franchises have adopted a lot slower than others, but they could still mix that in with the physicality of Isaiah. They could mix all that in.
But I also think those East Coast teams, they really like that toughness within their coaches, which is why you see Tibbs thrive in the East Coast a lot. You guys like even like JB Bickerstaff. For the West, you kind of see like analytics friendly coaches kind of take on the job.
But some of these teams, they could end up getting bullied anyway. That's the thing that never gets talked about, because Jokic, as much as people think that he's shooting and doing all that, that guy will bully the fuck out of players, man, in the post. Him and Luka, they're low key bullying guys, dragging you down in the post. If you come if you come too close, they'll drive on you and just bring you down there. But this has been good, man. This has been some good game film. Yo, it's something that really is needed, because I feel like we're covering a lot of teams that are kind of evolving, and they have some young talent, man. That's really starting to push through.
The league, and this is my criticism of the NBA. Like, it all comes down to this: the league is changing fast, but we don't market teams.
Yeah, these teams are not being marketed. I do not agree with the league's approach with just keep marketing a 40-year-old LeBron James. I do not agree with that at all.
Well, I don't agree. Even like, for example, Zion, right? Like, sure, Zion is kind of like a star or whatever. That's fine. Like, it makes sense. But you're better off marketing a team as much more of a safer bet. In my opinion. Now, like, if the player, for example, is injured, right? You don't have to worry about people not tuning in because you have a team to market.
Yeah,
Or
it's just in a way, man. It's tough because I feel like the business has been really good for the league with certain players, and sometimes, like, just like how we were talking about, the East Coast teams are struggling to adapt. The league is
yeah,
still struggling to adapt on the marketing outside of the Michael Jordan kind of formula, where it's like star
yeah,
driven, charismatic guy. But what happens when the league's talent pool gets a lot bigger, and now the talent is really 1 through 8 on almost every single team, or 1 through
yeah.
10, and there's no guy good enough to dominate that type of talent every single night, from the first guy to the 8th guy on the bench. Like Jordan
Yeah,
just had
because
to
like
worry about like the top 6. Like now on these teams, you got to worry about like the top 7 to 8.
because it was easy to market. Like let's say like a game tomorrow is like the Spurs versus the Dallas Mavericks. You're not marketing like the whole Spurs team versus the Mavericks. You're marketing Dirk versus Tim Duncan head to head in their positions, right? And that gets you because the both are going to drop crazy numbers, which gets you views. Same with Kobe. Kobe against whichever player you could think of. Like you knew that was going to drive views. Even LeBron and kind of Steph Curry and kind of the whole dynamic of the Warriors at Cleveland, you were able to sell based off like the idea of like three of the top players of the league playing in the NBA Finals. Where I think now it's kind of hard because like now look, like now you got like Jokic probably would have been the last one, but even like the Miami Heat, they're not a team with a clear top 10 player in that 2013 run.
No, and they're gonna have to market styles, which they slowly have eliminated. Like normally
Yeah,
they can market, the high powered Shaquille O'Neal, big and powerful, versus the finesse Phoenix Suns. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Quick powered, quick
big,
offense, fast
yeah,
triggered offense, Phoenix Suns. Like they can't do that no more. Everyone is the
yeah.
same thing. That's the
Or
problem
or
with
the
that
big
whole analytics
fundamentals which
shit.
your grandfather would love to watch, Tim Duncan, like stuff like that. You can't do anymore.
You can't. I mean, you don't even have to go like the grandfather route with the Tim Duncan, because that style will always exist in basketball. It
Yeah,
will
of course,
always
but like,
exist. But the thing is, that style, it should be marketed. How would it match up going up against a team that shoots nonstop versus a team that
yeah,
plays
like,
half court? Like they've mastered the half court, slowing the game
yeah,
down. They control the game. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't know how to like they can't even market that today because they eliminated all that. Everyone plays
yeah,
the same way.
yeah.
They've
But like,
eliminated all that.
there's no creativity. But I think like that's what basketball's missing because like personality sold a lot more easier because I think they're a lot less accessible now. Players are accessible, so if I'm a basketball fan, right, I don't really have to tune into a game to watch my favorite player anymore.
Oh, that's another good point. That's another good point. But at the end of the day, I think the competition and the competitiveness is what's going to draw the fans in. But it's going to be hard for the NBA to do that when everyone's fucking rich. You got the
When
guy off the
everyone is
bench
rich,
making 15 mil a
yeah,
year. Like it's gonna that's the part I'm waiting for the league to kind of be realistic about, because it's hard for everyone to be rumble and tumble fighting to be the best when everyone's rich
yeah,
off the
that
first
is true.
contract. Like that's kind of
That is
crazy.
true. After those 4 years, you're set for life.
Not even that. Like after the first contract, you could be a role player, and then after like a couple years, you secure a contract. You're getting 15 mil to be the second player off the bench.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
that's
Like,
kind of crazy.
like I said, bro, it's kind of like the NBA, the way it's set up, right? Like the way the NBA has now been set up. Like we're looking at a new league overall, and I think with that new league, you have to market teams. Like when you look at the Orlando Magic, right? Like Paulo and Franz on surface level, they're the bigger stars. But then when you watch the game, you're watching guys like even Jet Howard, someone who didn't really get minutes last year, he was able to put up a solid performance against the Bucks. Anthony Black, Jalen Suggs. So now you have a lot more going for you when you market overall teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be real
yeah,
tough because I feel like at the end of the day, like you said, the marketing the teams like the NFL, they got to go that route. But they also got to go that route because the talent pool is just too good. Like Michael Jordan today would have a more difficult time dominating all these guys because he's not dominating 1 through 6. He's dominating almost 1 through 8, 1 through 9. Like there's guys that could literally affect the game. That are on these teams. These teams are deep.
And I think just the social media, I think we kind of forget. Like I said, they're accessible now. Like if I want to watch, like say like my favorite player growing up is Paul George. I don't really have to watch a Paul George game anymore to like get the access to Paul George.
Correct. Cause he's on Podcast P.
Yeah.
He's on
Draymond.
Yep.
A lot of these like what's that one young guy on the Philadelphia McCain? I don't need to like turn on the Jaden McCain game. I just need to turn on my TikTok.
Hell yeah. You need to put on your favorite nail polish and turn on TikTok, man, to see Jaden McCain.
Watch him dance and shit, like you don't need that shit anymore, bro. I think that's what the league needs to catch up on is like I think Jokic works well because he's not very accessible. Same with Kawhi. Like they're not accessible guys because they're not on social media.
Even Kobe to a degree before he had left.
Yeah.
He wasn't that accessible.
Like Dirk, Duncan, they weren't very accessible. But the thing is, like now the players are much. Even LeBron's accessible.
Yeah, but LeBron a little bit too much.
A little bit too much, sure, with the statements and stuff. But he's a lot more accessible. So that's where kind of the league kind of gets left in a dark limbo with accessibility and kind of like fans don't really need to care, about watching the game to tune in with their favorite players because they have Instagram,
Correct. Yeah, man.
I think that's.
It's definitely it's a conundrum for the league, because everyone at the same time, no matter what, is gonna get richer. I don't know if incentive-based contracts is gonna be the next move. I don't know because
maybe in order to maybe crack down on the like rest games, you could make incentives like you play a certain amount of games, you get this many bonuses. Like a lot could go into it, a lot can go into it, but I think like a lot of these players have become brands themselves, where a lot of them don't. I don't think a lot of them view the team as necessary for their brand anymore.
Yeah, which takes away from the loyalty of the fan base.
Yeah.
Because like once that player retires, let's say the NBA put all their chips into the LeBron branding, right? Once LeBron retires, he takes that fan base with him. They're not gonna imagine most of them not interested in the league after that.
He wants to go into Hollywood, right? So he's gonna take his chips and go to Hollywood.
AKA, he's gonna take that fan base and go to Hollywood with them. They're gonna be like, hey, we see our guy. The league is not interesting to us anymore because we only been marketed LeBron.
Now we're gonna watch LeBron movies on HBO.
It's not gonna be for a large portion of the NBA audience, but it's gonna be for a decent amount where it's gonna affect things. And that's why I think they're gonna have to go the NFL route at some point, because even us talking about the Pistons just now, I'm thinking about it like this team is gonna be something else if they, once they start getting more polished players, more polished shooters. But I throughout this whole segment, I've been wondering how the fuck is the NBA gonna market this team, because they have not even attempted at it at all. There's no attempt. There's no build up.
They don't get nationalized TV games. Yeah,
there's nothing. Like nobody even the casuals do not even know who's their star player. Like this is a weird thing, and it just feel like SGA, for him to pop up in that Vegas game in the finals, it's like they expect that to translate when there's no real build up. Like how many times they don't even have SGA on Christmas.
No, they don't.
But this is where the league don't make sense. How you expect him to translate for the finals in the Vegas league? Doesn't make any sense.
Same with Orlando. Like you don't have Orlando. I think last year you only had 2 nationalized TV games, and one of them was only because of Shaquille O'Neal's jersey retirement.
Wow.
No, I think
that's
one.
Pitiful.
Only one, and that was for Shaquille O'Neal's jersey retirement.
That's sad.
Then imagine you have a first-round pick of the previous draft year. You would think like, hey, you know what? Let's give him some televised TV games because, he's only 20 and he'll be the face of the league eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you would think some heads, like some common sense prevail in TNT and kind of like TNT and ESPN were like, it's like, you know what, let's promote our future heads of the game. Because I'm watching an interview I was watching on my timeline. I think it was Malika Andrews who do the interviews. I'm not sure. But one of the ESPN girls, they did the interview and it was Steph Curry talking about retirement. And I'm like, holy fuck, man. Like, this is what we're relying on to carry the NBA for like years to come. Like, this guy's already entertaining retirement.
Exactly. It's kind of crazy. It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Good for him, man. Like, that's why I say out of all major leagues, like the NBA has regressed the most. Like even MLB has seen a spark in like kind of relevancy because people care about the MLB because of the Dodgers becoming relevant and the Yankees.
Mm-hmm. And if you notice, baseball don't really. Their players, if they were in the mall shopping, they're not gonna really cause a frenzy like an NBA player. They're not gonna be easily as spotted. But the
Yeah,
NBA has been so focused on individual brands that they've kind of ignored their brand, and they're gonna have to
yeah,
work with their television partners like ESPN. The way ESPN is promoting the NBA is not it. Talking about the Los Angeles Lakers and JJ Redick during the NBA Finals with the
it's
Mavs
whack.
and the Celtics.
Boston.
That's not the way to go. They got to talk
And
to
when
them
you have
about that.
Stephen A. Smith make statements like, "Oh, I hope the team that wins is the team I get to go to vacation with," it's not good because I doubt he does that with the NFL. If
Yep.
the NFL, like, let's say the Super Bowl is hosted in fucking, I don't know, Kansas or some city that he doesn't like, I doubt he's gonna talk shit about the city.
Yep. Facts.
Like, I sincerely doubt it. He's gonna be like, "Oh, fuck yeah," like it's all about the NFL. It's not about like major markets. And the same with baseball. Used to be about major markets, but you see that conversation die down a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot more regional, and you know that's something I was talking about earlier in one of my shows that I did, one of my
Yeah.
segments. How the online world, in a way, it's more niche than it is for a mass entity like ESPN to try to appeal to everybody. I think that's
Yeah.
another thing that hurts them. The NBA has gotten to the whole let's appeal to the world, the global pool. You see Adam Silver every time in his press conference he's talking about
Yeah.
the global world, our global audience. When you try to appeal to so many, you actually don't stand on anything. You don't represent anybody or anything. You're just
Yeah.
there.
'Cause you're not making anybody happy.
Yeah, you're just stretching yourself too thin. And I feel like the league, maybe this expansion has come, with the influx of money a little bit too fast. And then they're talking about expanding into two other NBA teams. Maybe they might be doing too many things at once. You know what I'm
Yeah, but
saying?
my thing
Like,
is like we can expand NBA teams, but how can we guarantee these NBA teams will be relevant?
exactly. They can't even guarantee the Pelicans to be relevant. Like, I
The
don't understand how
Pelicans
they
are
think about
relevant.
expansion.
Yeah, I mean, look at a lot of teams. Like, who really talks about some of these teams that are currently playing? Like, I'm not even talking about record wise. Like Atlanta Hawks, who care? Like, nobody really talked about them besides like Trey Young's antics, and it was entertaining, whatever. Do we really talk about the Orlando Magic like that? Is Cleveland even talked about, despite them being a top 3 seed? Like at first, it was like, oh, Cleveland's cool, but like, has anyone really like Donovan Mitchell this, Donovan Mitchell that? We don't see any narratives run wild. The Lakers and their fiasco always be relevant. It's like 3, 4 teams that kind of catch your eye. The Brooklyn Nets and whatever they do because they're New York, they're gonna catch the eye. So for me, it's like, bro, we need to make the all around NBA relevant, and I've been saying that since forever. I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, the fact I could turn on the ESPN tomorrow and like they'll talk about the fucking trash ass Atlanta Falcons or the Cowboys for like the millionth time, but like they don't really bother to talk about other teams where teams like the Pistons, teams like the Pelicans, teams like like Memphis will talk about because of job, but I just can't think of teams right now. But there's some teams that they're not bothering to really cover, and it's a problem with how the product will go on in the future. Because like I said, bro, like the fact this league is relying on 3 players who are close to retiring because they're all playing the nostalgia factor, like sit in interviews with Steph, LeBron, and Curry. I'm like, all right, yeah, like like father
But
time
that
wins.
that right there might be a ESPN issue. It might be an
Well,
ESPN
ESPN
issue.
controls narrative, bro. That's the thing. Like you know, a lot of people like ESPN dominates social media too when we look at it. Because let's be honest, like when we scroll on NBA Twitter, we're watching Stephen A. say the most outrageous shit every time, you know, because people react the most to those statements.
Correct. But hey,
So
man,
like, don't
we'll
yeah,
we'll, we'll, we'll,
but,
we'll we'll see how these things play out. It's a it's definitely it's definitely
yeah,
gonna be an ongoing discussion throughout the
yeah.
year. But
And also, like, bro, you look at like I think Kobe's retirement kind of signifies it. Like when Kobe was retiring, we were going into that kind of Steph Curry 3-point shot era, where it was a much easier transition. My thing is with LeBron is when he retires, what transition are we really going to see?
ooh, that's a good point right there. We don't
Because
really
you remember
have
Steph?
that.
Because you had the 73-9 season, the Warriors were like the most talked about team next to Kobe Bryant's retirement. Like those were the most two talked about teams, right? Rightfully so, because they were both making history, like Kobe's last game and obviously the Warriors. But like you just knew, like yo, like for like 4 or 5 years to come, it's gonna be about the Warriors, and it did become that. But you also saw like kind of like Harden and kind of like after Duncan retired, you had the rise of Kawhi and Dirk retired. The transition became Luka, but you don't see that with the modern NBA with new talent coming in. Like Wembanyama's cool. He's gonna be marketable, but like, how far are they willing to market him?
They're
Like how? Like,
but
because
here's another thing. They're not in that transition, right? You were talking about with Curry, right? After Kobe had left, that transition won't really happen again because within that transition, a dynamic that played out is the consistency of Curry and LeBron being in the finals. That today in this parity era is going to be super rare. It's going to
yeah,
be super rare. It's
but
not
you
really
all,
going to happen like that.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
saying like
Mm-hmm.
you kind of have that transition, right? Where like like Kobe retired, right? But you also have like kind of like Steph and LeBron, but you also have like kind of guys who are good like supporting cast to the big picture, like Kawhi, Harden, even DeMar had some cool seasons. That you just had that kind of like you kind of had some players you can rely on, but I don't know now. Like it's hard for me to say like can you really rely on players to kind of take over the mantle? Because I'm looking at even like this Christmas game. Where's Giannis?
Yeah, Giannis is MIA. It's not really gonna happen like that. The
You're
league,
two, you're,
the
you're
league,
two-time
it's an
MVP.
issue with their television partners. There's a
Yeah,
disconnect. Their television partners are about. They're so money driven. They're only about today. They're not necessarily looking about tomorrow. Because I remember who exposed it. Was it It's one of the major analysts at
is it
ESPN.
Windhorst?
Tim Legler, I think it was.
Oh,
He exposed
okay.
that he wanted to talk about the Pacers, but they said that doesn't get them any ratings. They were so rating and clickbait interested that they didn't care about talking about teams that were starting up, new play styles. When Tyrese Halliburton was going crazy early last year, he said
Yeah,
ESPN did not want to talk about that. They wanted to focus on the Lakers.
yeah, of
So
course. Because then you get stuck. Like when you look at like last year, like Andrew Nimrod goes ham, but you like I said, Andrew Nimrod goes ham. Good for him, but it doesn't do anything for the average viewer because we were never told to give a fuck about Andrew Nimrod.
shit. But yo, man, definitely appreciate you, man. This has
Yeah.
been dope. We definitely gonna do this again. And yeah, enjoy your holidays, man.
Enjoy yours too, man.
All
All
right,
right,
man.
bro.
Appreciate
Subscribe
you.
to Orange Cookies
Yeah,
on
you guys
YouTube.
definitely hit up the link in the description below. Check out Saeed's Substack. Dope articles in there, man. We're gonna have some more of this dope conversation. Do some more of this dope game film, man. We got a lot of things to cover during the season. And
For sure, man. For sure.
and
The
and
season's
and most of
still.
the storylines are playing out on the court. They're not
Yeah.
necessarily playing out with the storylines with the regular non-court activities like the Zion William thotties. That's
Yeah.
not playing out as much anymore.
Zion William bodies. But
Yeah,
yeah, like I said, bro, the season's still young. The season just started like 2 months ago, so there's a
definitely.
lot. There's a lot moments that we can catch up on.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Saeed, definitely stay up, man. Enjoy your
Hello.
holidays, man. We'll link up. All right, brother. Peace.